Well, hello everybody. Super excited to have an amazing guest today with with us today to share lots of knowledge about AI. And so, welcome, Julian.
Hi there. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
We are very happy to have you today to teach us a thing or two. AI is the word of the day. We're all excited
Sure is.
about it. Some of us are in love with it. Some of us are scared of it. But you are the one that is an expert. So go for it. What do we need to know about
Oh man,
AI?
that's a big question. Um, well, yeah, for your audience, I was wondering if it would be, where I could provide the most value. So, personally, I have always been a huge fan of like personal productivity, hacking,
Mhm,
and just figuring out how to better leverage my, limited time.
mhm.
And so I'll just maybe back up real quick to give you a high level overview of, my journey to this point. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I've had a couple different businesses. Prior to that, I was actually in real estate. Roxanne, I don't know if I told you that or not, but
You did tell me that,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I've had a digital marketing agency, a couple different businesses over the course of the last few years. I sold my most recent agency in 2023 and did some consulting. And through that process was just leveraging a lot of AI and productivity tools and getting a lot of great results and able realizing how effective I was able to be in a shorter period of time with just the new tools that have been out over the last 2, 3 years. And so my new agency in consultancy is called Amper.ai, and we help businesses with AI and automation. So we train teams on reskilling and upskilling their existing teams to be more effective and productive with their time and to unlock bottlenecks. Um, but personally, I've always just really geeked out on personal productivity. I've got pretty bad ADHD from diagnosed from a young age, and so I've always been trying to figure out how to like unlock my brain to has the potential to be super productive and very effective and efficient when need be, but also it's really hard to like figure out how to turn that on and get past that like motivation bridge sometimes. So so we can take the conversation in any way you want, whatever you think would be most helpful for you guys and helpful for your audience. But I love personal productivity. There's a ton of different AI powered technology and tools that I've used over the years to get more effective and efficient. Um, if you want, I
Personal
can.
productivity, yeah, but
Yeah.
deeper into it. Tell us what's your take. Tell us how you set that up and how we can help our audience and the agents that watch our channel
Yeah.
get more
So I
into
don't
it.
know, if what I'm saying is resonating with you guys, but
Um,
just in
Big
terms of
time.
cool, in terms of personal, you know, productivity and how I spend my time, I need to be very like structured and organized.
Mhm.
I found this is something I'll show you. It's called a Pomodoro timer. If you guys are familiar with that, so this is a little like $25 device I bought online, and it just easily starts a timer. So if I put it on my desk for 60 minutes,
Mm.
45 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and I just put it down and it instantly starts timing, and I can pause it or I can set a new timer. So for myself, I say, okay, I can do a 20-minute sprint of this, even though this isn't something I want to do. And then I'll reward myself with 5 minutes. And so this is just an easy way. I don't have to click any buttons. I literally just touch it, rotate it, and it starts timing. So that's a cool little, hack and
Gadget.
something you can research. Pomodoro timing method is something that's really, interesting and helps with kind of break through productivity barriers.
Yeah.
Um, I have, let's see, I use obviously ChatGPT and other
Mhm.
AI tools all the time. So, there's like the four big players. There's Gemini and ChatGPT and Claude and Grok. I use Gemini for me personally inside of my business because I'm on Google Workspace. And Gemini has some amazing capabilities. It's called multimodal capabilities, where it can do, you can input any different type of format, whether that's video, audio, images, etc., and output different types of formats, same types of formats. So Gemini is an amazing tool. I use ChatGPT all the time, kind of to bridge across business and personal use. So I
Mhm.
would say Gemini probably has the most context around who I am
Mhm.
personally and professionally. And so I use it as a thought partner all the time. And as a result of that, I have a little hot button on my phone so I can push a single button and start voice mode. So, 5 seconds driving down the road, I can push a button and be having a conversation with ChatGPT voice mode as like a thought partner, or to get an idea out of my head, or to help me prep for an upcoming meeting that I'm on my way to, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's another interesting one. Let's see. There's a lot of, a lot of people struggle with their inbox, managing their inbox. So there's a lot of great tools: Fixer, Jace.ai, Superhuman, a couple others. I can send you a whole list of tools and resources that I have if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
those all those tools can help you, automatically like label and classify and organize your inbox and write email drafts based on your tone and voice of previous emails that you've sent. So at this point, there's no need to be like writing emails from scratch anymore. You can have AI help you write the first draft, and that can save you, in most cases, I would say 85-90% of your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As in the course of the day, even though we don't want to use a whole lot of paper, we wind up using a whole lot of paper. And so I find myself like in the course of, let's say, a month or a week, by the time I may start with cleaning up my desk and there's no papers. And then a week later, by the end of the week, there's a pile of paper. And I was thinking, is it possible to just um, scan all the papers, upload them? Let's say Dropbox is a storage that we use.
Yeah.
Upload everything to Dropbox and have some AI read through all of them and organize them into the appropriate folders. Is there such a thing out there?
Honestly, there probably is something that's meant specifically just for that process. I mean, in a sense, you can do that already with, you could take a picture of a few pieces of handwritten notes, or a picture of a whiteboard strategy session that you just had, and you could just push that right into Gemini or ChatGPT, and you could ask it to not only transcribe all of that into text, but also to give you additional insight and pull out action items and you know uh, takeaways and things like that. So that is definitely something I do all the time, like on a kind of one-off basis. But you're talking about like processing an entire stack. That's a different story, because you got to figure out how to best get it into the system and digitized. There's probably like a company, and if there's not, there should be a company where you can just send your box of handwritten notes
Papers.
and binders, yeah, to have them digitized. Because once they're in a digital format, even just as a photograph, then it's easy to push them through a tool that has what they call OCR, optical character recognition, and can extract the data, and then you can do stuff with the data. But to your, if you went to an event or you had an important meeting, for sure you could just upload those couple pictures of handwritten notes, and AI at this point can do an amazing job of pulling out that and extracting that information. And so I do that all the time. Like, I'll have a meeting, I'll record the meeting just using my iPhone voice notes. Voice notes automatically creates a transcript in the background, which most people don't realize. And then you can copy that transcript, push it into ChatGPT with just like a 1 or 2 sentence prompt. Say, hey, here's the full transcript of a meeting that I just had with so and so. Here's a little bit of context. Here's what I need you to do as a next step. And also, here's a picture of my handwritten notes that accompanied that meeting as well. So you just feed it everything, just the raw transcript, a picture of your notes, and then have it give you a really well structured output, and then also have you write an email follow up and things like that.
I was actually thinking, and I haven't done this, but I was thinking that this is one of those things that I probably should be doing, to use it as like a kind of like a forensic accountant, to upload all of my income statements and P&Ls and all of the financials from like last year, and say, analyze this and say, where should I cut, where should I add, and to run the business more efficiently. Is that something you think can be done?
Yeah, it definitely can be done. I would just have a little bit of caution around uploading, it's called PII, personally identifiable information. So you just need to be really careful with where you're putting that information, and making sure that that information is not being used as training data for the next run of an AI model being developed.
Mm.
And you don't want that pieces of that information accidentally showing up in somebody else's, you know, AI search down the road. But you can easily figure that out by looking through the terms of service of the tool that you're using to understand their data retention policy, understand if they are using your data for training purposes, which is always a setting that you can turn off, especially, or is usually not on by default if you're using the paid version of the tool.
Mm.
So to answer your question, yes, 100% you can use AI for that type of thing, but either anonymize the data first before you push it into the system, or
Mm.
make sure that the tool you're using is a tool that you trust and you have a lot of clarity around how the data is being used by them and stored by them.
So when you're saying that you can trust it, that's a whole other ball of wax to
It, it,
unfold, as far as how much can you really trust something that is so new and we don't know much about, and it's evolving all the time. As a matter of fact, I think I heard something that they were saying that it what a year ago it was hallucinating and giving a lot of wrong information, and hallucination has ended, and it's able to think clearly now, and there's no more hallucination coming out of the AI systems. But with
uh,
that comes the system becoming a lot more a lot smarter.
it's definitely getting smarter every day on an exponential curve. It is getting way better at limiting hallucination, but it is still definitely a big problem. And again, this depends on which model you're using. If you're using a free version of a tool, you're most likely using a model that's 6-month-old technology. If you're using the $20 paid version of ChatGPT, you're using the latest, or especially if you're using Teams account or Enterprise account, then you're getting access to the newest tech, which has lower rate of hallucination. But I always say you always need to decide, like, is this something I should use AI for? And then once you decide to use AI, you need to vet the output. And so you want to try to use a tool that is grounded in like real source documentation, and where you can cite where the information is coming from. So I use a tool called Notebook LM, which is a Google product, and that tool is only referencing the source material that you provide to it, so that I have a lot more trust in the output, and I can actually see where it cited information that it gathered, which document what came from, which page, which paragraph. I can click a button and I can see exactly where it got the information that it's suggesting to me. So to your point, there's like safety and data privacy and security. That is a very important aspect of AI and understanding AI and which tools you use. But I do look at it like any other software tool that you use. You are already uploading and storing a lot of personally identifiable information and
Hmm.
sensitive data
Yeah.
in your CRM, most likely, in your project management system, most likely, for sure, in your like invoicing or finance tools.
Hmm.
So all of those tools have their own terms of service and their own data protection and privacy policies and backup, you know, you know, terms and all kinds of information that you should and need to understand. And it's no different for these AI tools.
Hmm.
But to the extent that you can use paid versions of tools, you have a lot more protection when you're using a paid version of a tool.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Santi, you were a Gen Wire, so from the point of view of a Gen Wire, what's your opinion about AI, and what are the some of the questions that you have?
Well, I mean, I know definitely I use a lot of, you know, the AI. I'll use the Grok, ChatGPT, and I know that it's gonna completely almost take over of a lot of the stuff that I do. So kind of just adapting to it and basically integrating it, not being like, putting it off aside, trying to integrate it, little by little and growing with it is kind of like how I see it. Cause I mean, I think it's just going to become inevitable that, everyone's going to have to be using AI to be, successful or be more efficient, a million other things. But the question I have is, you know, I'm kind of more on
You're
that
not a
same.
Gen Yer, you're a Gen Zer.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Gen Z, Gen Z. More the question I have is, yeah, I'm kind of also on the security type of stuff. Like, how are we gonna know that, they're not stealing your information, or which I mean they probably already have a bunch of our information. It's like at this point, like, where do we go from there on the security measures for it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually trust like brand new kind of flashy tools that come
Mhm.
out that are in the news cycle. I want to let those like settle down and see
Yeah.
what comes of them. You know, if you follow AI closely, there was something called Clawbot. It was Claude, and it's changed its name a few times. OpenClaw, and there's all kinds of crazy security vulnerabilities and things that are happening as a result of people using tools like that, where they're just giving full access to an AI to manage their entire computer and
Yeah.
delete files and move things around. So I'm always very, very careful. And yeah, I guess it just comes back to understanding what. So I have actually a great prompt, which is like 5 or 10 bullet points to help analyze complex terms of service. Terms of service is a bunch of legalese. Nobody's ever actually reading the entire terms of service, but
Mhm.
you can at least put in a copy and paste the terms of service, put in a good prompt to extract the important information out that you should care about. And so that's where I start. That's where I typically start with a tool. If I'm going to think about using that tool, I extract the terms of service. I put it in with the prompt to understand specifically for me what are what's the data privacy policy? How long are they going to keep my data? What can I do to get the data that they know about me? Like all these tools actually allow you to request access to all the information that they store on you. And so you can request that. You just need to know where to find that link and where to go about submitting that request, things like that. So you just really need to do your due diligence, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stick with the bigger names for the most part. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
And
to
about, I mean,
limit my
the
risk.
last question I had, I mean, what would you say is like, if you had to use three AI tools, you know, every day,
Yeah.
what would you recommend people out there to like kind of jump into and test out and, you know?
Yeah, it's good question. So for me, I love, like I mentioned earlier, Notebook LM, which is a Google product. I don't have too many concerns about data privacy and issues because it's already in the Google ecosystem. They already have access to my email, my Drive, everything else. So,
Mhm.
um, no, but Notebook LM is a great tool for like synthesizing information and learning in different in different formats. So I can upload a really complex report, like in your guys' case with real estate, you could upload marketing trends and industry reports and sales data for the quarter, for the month, and then you could analyze that information and chat with that information. And again, it's like grounded source material that's only referencing the content that you've provided to it. But then you can create all kinds of really cool learning assets. Like you could say, create a 15-minute podcast for me as a San Diego real estate agent to get me up to speed on the last quarterly report about housing prices and market changes and interest rates and things like that. And then it'll generate a 15-minute podcast of two people talking to you about the information that you provided in a way that you care about. And I can listen to
Mhm.
that when I'm driving down the road on my phone really easily. That's like a podcast can create in 2 minutes. And so I do that for all kinds of stuff. I create podcasts for myself and listen to them all the time. I can create visual audio overviews. I can create mind maps. I can create study guides and quizzes all inside of Notebook LM really easily. So that's one tool. Gemini is also kind of the ChatGPT equivalent that is Google's AI product, and that is great in a work context. I would say Gemini is best at multimodal outputs, so creating videos, creating images. It used to be that image generation was kind of wonky when you used AI,
Mhm.
like with ChatGPT image generation, you would upload a picture and say, hey, create a more professional image of me wearing a suit instead of a t-shirt, and it would change your face a little bit, or something would be
Mhm.
off. If you uploaded a flyer, it would change some of the text. But now with Gemini, for the most part, that doesn't happen anymore with a tool that they have called Nano Banana. So you can you can do all kinds of image editing and image generation, and it'll do exactly what you ask it to do, and it won't mess up your, you know, your face and your text and things like that. So Gemini for sure is a great tool for image generation and content creation and short video snippets. And let's see, what's another tool? I mean, I personally, I use, inside of business, I use all kinds of automation tools. So there's a tool called N8N that I use often, but
What's it
maybe a more
called?
pro N8N. But that's a little bit more, it's a little bit less user friendly, a little more, a simpler version would be like something like Zapier or Lindy.
Mhm.
These are automation tools, so you can say, when this happens, I want you to do this and take this step. So to your point, Santiago, earlier about knowing that AI is like going to, take away a lot of the repetitive tasks inside of your role. That is the case, and that is happening with these AI powered automation tools. But you don't want to be scared of it. You don't want to ignore it. You want to figure out how you can leverage AI to do the more mundane, repetitive tasks that you're doing in front of a computer that automation and AI can do for you, so that you're freed up to do the more uniquely human stuff that AI is not going to do, which is in real estate, I think, really important. It's getting out there
Mhm.
and networking and building relationships and
Yeah.
being in front of your clients and things like that. So
Yeah.
so I would say an automation tool of some sort that can help, even just starting small, like use Lindy.com, use the free version and say, hey, create an automation that monitors my inbox and tells me anytime there's like a timely email that comes in requesting to change a meeting, or if somebody's saying that they're running late. And then if that email comes through, I want you to text me or Slack me to let me know, because I'm not living in my inbox all day, every day. So
Mhm.
that's like a simple one that I set up in 2 minutes. And now if I've got a coffee meeting with somebody and they email me to say that they're running a few minutes late, I'll get a text message. Things like
Mhm.
little things like that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
that's just a cool way to like dip your toes into automation. Once you're ready, what I work with established businesses most of the time to build out complex automation workflows, automating the entire onboarding process or the entire, lead, you know, process, or automating part of the sales process, things like that. But
Mhm.
there's simple automations that can be spun up really easily to support you in different ways, both personally and and professionally.
This is super cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Super,
fun.
super
And
cool
and
stuff.
it all starts to click a little bit more when you see it visually. So,
Yeah.
um, at some point, maybe I can send you guys some resources or links of where I'm walking through what an automation looks like and how you build one, and things like that. But in the meantime, if anyone, just a couple of resources, if it's helpful, I've got a free weekly newsletter. I'm sending my next one out this afternoon, mostly focused on AI and automation, but I do, throw in a few like productivity tricks and things along the
Mhm.
way and tools to check out. That's just a free weekly newsletter that anyone's welcome to subscribe to. And then I've got an online like circle community of professionals and business owners that where I'm sharing all of my experiments and testing and content that I'm creating, and people are sharing case studies and talking about what's working, and we're all collaborating.
This is super, super exciting.
Yeah,
So on that note, let's actually share some of your information.
yeah,
So Julian is the CEO of Ampra.ai, and audience, if they want to reach out to you, they can call or text you, Julian.
yeah. It's probably best to shoot me an email. Julian with an E, Julien at ampra.ai is my email address. You can find me on most of the social channels as well. But
And there's
yeah,
your website,
yeah, that's my website.
Ampra.ai.
Connect with me on via email, on my website, via LinkedIn. Always happy to have a conversation, and love going down the rabbit hole and talking about AI and productivity and all things tech.
All things tech. And there you have it. There's Julian's name if you want to look for him on LinkedIn and connect with him. And if you want to email him, there's his email address. And if you're looking for his website, there's his website. And if you guys are looking to connect with us, there's my phone number, and there's Santi's phone number. We also would love it if you guys give us a follow on Instagram. There is our website if you guys want to reach out. And of course, we love email as well. So there's my email that we share. And on that note, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, we would love it if you guys give us a thumbs up. And Santi, what else do you want them to do?
Subscribe.
Subscribe, 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 so that we can bring brilliant speakers just like Julian next time for our videos. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. And
Awesome. Thank you,
Julian,
guys.
thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And what a wealth of knowledge. So exciting. Looking forward to learning from you.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. All right,
Bye,
guys.
See you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.